In June 2017, Lon Strickler was contacted by a witness with a bizarre report. Lon spoke to the witness over the phone and attempted to make sense of her story, which involved an apparent encounter with a 7-foot-tall, upright walking coyote. In my previous videos, I've talked about upright walking canines, upright walking hyenas, upright walking panthers, even upright walking dingoes. However, I've never heard of an upright walking coyote. That's a first for me. The encounter happened in a rural area in southeastern Oklahoma, a few miles from Talihina. Talihina is a town in LaFleur County, Oklahoma. Its name originating from two Choctaw words, Tali and Hina, meaning Iron Road. Iron Road is a reference to the railroad that the town was built around, a population of 1,114. The witness, a 48-year-old woman who lived in Talihina all of her life and never experienced anything out of the ordinary, was on her back porch reading a newspaper on the evening of June 1st, 2017. It was around 10:30 p.m. Her husband was getting ready to leave for work. Their porch faced a large wooded area, about 800 feet from the lake. They had a small yard, and the edge of the woods was about 50 feet from their house. Her husband walked out the back door, said goodbye, and walked to his truck. As soon as he pulled away, the witness heard a loud shrill sound coming from the direction of the lake. It reminded me of a pig squealing, but was much louder and scarier. I didn't get up from my chair as I looked towards the woods. After a few minutes, I heard something heavy walking through the woods. It was definitely something or someone walking on two legs. It was so dark I couldn't see anything. At that moment, 3 deer burst out of the woods and ran alongside the house. The witness assumed that they were the cause of the initial noise, so she got up and walked into the house. On most nights, the witness would return home from work at around 8:30 p.m., eat dinner, and then go out on the porch to read the newspaper. Ever since the first night, the witness heard the same shrill sound on 4 other occasions. Her husband sat with her a few times, and he was also surprised by the sounds. Despite being a hunter all of his adult life, he had no idea what could be making those sounds. 10:45 p.m. Tuesday, June 13, the witness again found herself sitting outside on the porch. This time she was talking to her daughter on the phone. Her husband had already left for work. I had a strange feeling most of the evening and kept my eyes focused towards the woods, the witness told Lon. I was about ready to get up and walk into the house after ending the call, but then I noticed a pair of bright yellow eyes looking at me from the woods. It was only a few feet into the brush, and the eyes were at least 7 feet from the ground. I ran into the kitchen and quickly closed the door and locked it. I turned the lights off inside, but the porch light was still on, and the edge of the woods was slightly illuminated. The witness peeked out the kitchen window, which was situated over the sink, and observed something strange. I noticed a tall, huge, dark figure standing in the back of the yard. The eyes still shone brightly and were looking in my direction. As I continued to watch, my eyes were adjusting to the low light. I then noticed the long, thick arms with fingers and long nails. I then recognized a long snout and long, pointed ears. Then, suddenly, it turned and ran into the woods. It was gone. I was literally trembling because I had no idea what I just saw. The witness immediately called her daughter back and told her about what she had just seen. The daughter and her husband immediately came over and spent the night. The son-in-law brought along his rifle just in case the creature decided to return. The next morning, the witness told her husband about the creature. He is part Osage and believes in animal spirits, but he was confused by this thing I described. He told me that it may be a trickster spirit, and if we ignore it, it won't bother us. I'm not so sure I believe that. This thing didn't look like a spirit and literally resembled a huge dark coyote walking on 2 legs. Lon noted that the witness was not able to find any tracks or anything else, nor had her neighbors noticed anything unusual. Granted, they are elderly and they rarely go outside. Lon also found out that the witness's husband had contacted the authorities, but he told them he was just making inquiries, wanting to know if there had been any other reports. Apparently, the police refused to give out any information. Lon asked the woman to stay in contact. As I said in the opening, I've personally never heard of an upright walking coyote before. However, If you have heard of such a thing, please contact Lon and tell him about your encounter because he's definitely interested.